Okay, gotcha.
Yes.
Okay. Well, first of all, as you probably know, I will not be mentioning any company or any product. We keep this thing neutral, but I will tell you that I did start with the company I'm with now over 25 years ago by sponsoring 4 distributors. And those 4 distributors have grown to over 1,400,000. And 95% of all those distributors came from the original 4. So that's got to tell you something right up front, that note the word recruit. You do not have to recruit a lot of people to build a large organization. You need to sponsor and teach your people to duplicate and build what we call a family of consumer. Now, if you're new to network marketing and you don't know what it means to duplicate, simply means that when you sponsor someone, you help that person go at least 3 or more levels deep. If you're not duplicating, you will never, ever build a large organization. It's impossible, and you'll understand that by the time I get through. I think most of you have already read my book, but if you haven't, napkin presentation number 4 describes what your business should look like. It should look like the biggest building you've ever seen in your life. And that represents huge income. But you cannot see the building and you cannot see the income until you do the foundation. And to put up a big building, you got to have a deep foundation, and that's duplication. Give you an example of what's happening in the industry. A non-sales type, note the word recruits, a salesperson thinking they're going to get rich because they can bring in a lot of people, which they can. They can recruit 50 to 100 people in 6 months to a year. But the problem is that at the end of the year, you look at their genealogy and they haven't duplicated themselves in one place. And when that happens, they will start losing people faster than they can add them. So now they think there's something wrong with the company, the product, the marketing plan, their sponsor. But someone comes along, shows them another hot program, and they're off to the races on the new program. Guess what happens in a year go by with the new program? Same thing, no duplication. People are leaving. So now they're ready for the another new program. You're going to run into people in 2, 3, 4 or more programs. And when you do, just let them know that they did not fail in network marketing. Because see, they didn't do network marketing. They did sales, and sales does not work. And you're going to really understand that by the time I get through. So anyway, I want to tell you a quick story about a person by the name of Jimmy the Butcher Smith. Okay, he was a butcher for 42 years, had to retire because of a back injury. He got into network marketing, said he loved network marketing, but he didn't do network marketing. So over a period of 10 years, he was in 10 different programs, didn't make very much money, came across my training, and he learned that we do not recruit people to sell, but we sponsor and teach people to duplicate. And again, that means that the person you sponsor, you help them go 3 or more levels deep. Well, he was 52 years old when he learned this. And what happened, by the time he was 70, he was worth 35 million. And when he was 92, he was worth 90 million. We have the recording of an interview that he did with Eric Worre, where he mentioned my name 2 different times as being totally responsible for his success. When I called him the first time, to ask him to do a testimony for a new edition of my book coming out in Europe, he was so appreciative of what he had learned from me and what it had done for his life and his family. He invited Nancy and I to go on a company cruise with him. It was out of New Orleans. I live in San Diego. Within 3 days, paid for the airfare, paid for the cruise. We spent a whole week with this person, and he didn't spend 2 minutes the entire time talking about his vehicle. His company product and marketing plan. All he wanted to do was talk about duplication and building a family of consumers. And let me give another quick testimony. A guy by the name of Jordan Adler. He was in network marketing for 11 years. Couldn't sponsor anybody because he kept trying to recruit people to sell. and people just don't want to sell. He actually found my book in a garage sale. He bought it for 25 cents. He's now a multi-millionaire. Now, 100% of the people in the world who are not in network marketing do not understand it. 80 to 90% of the people in the world who are in it don't understand it. And you'd be amazed how many company owners don't understand it. And that's why the book is sold now over 11 million copies. It's in all the major languages, because when people read it, they understand it. Now, when they understand it, we coined a phrase that now they know how to drive. Now you're going to know more about that as I go here, how important it is to know how, when you know how to drive, you understand network marketing. So give you a personal testimony. For a few that came in a few minutes late, I started, been with the same company over 25 years, started off by sponsoring 4 distributors that grew to 1,400,000. What I didn't tell you is that I am in a health company like most of you are. But over that period of 25 years, by accident, I have actually sold 1 product. Okay. Some people were visiting at my home. The product was on the counter in the kitchen. They saw it, asked what it was. I told them what it was. They wanted to buy it. The only thing I've ever sold. But see, last month, my volume with my family of consumers was over 13 million. And my volume for this year will be well over 150 million, which is more than 90% of the network marketing companies out there do. And I did that by not ever recruiting anybody to sell anything, only teaching people how to duplicate and build a family of consumers. I want to talk about your market. What that means is that if you think you're recruiting people to sell health products, how many people do they really have that they can talk to out there that are really interested in health? Well, only 15% of the people in the world at any given point in time are either sick, hurt, or into health. And that breaks down to 8% of the 15 are really into health. And anyone that would argue that, they say measure the square footage of your health food stores in town, all your supermarkets in town, and you're not going to have 8%. So you got a very small market if that's what you're doing. Now you have a lot of competition. Okay. You get a lot of new companies starting up, and all these new companies starting up, they spend millions of dollars getting their product line ready to go to market. They all make the same mistake, which will be the cause of their failure. Okay. What they do is they recruit a sales manager. Well, I think that's kind of strange because we're not in sales, we're in network marketing. So why do they recruit a sales manager? In fact, the sales manager they recruit has never sponsored a person in network marketing, never built a business in network marketing. So why did they recruit him? 2 reasons. I already told you one, because number one, they don't understand it. And the second one is that they recruit the sales manager to recruit people to sell their products. Okay. Doesn't work, folks. And that's why 90% of the new companies starting up are out of business within 2 years. And just so you know this, that most all the companies in the world right now are going down. Okay. They get to the point where they're so big that they're starting to lose people faster than they can add them. And the reason they're losing the people because they're not teaching their people to duplicate. If they would do that, I mean, these people, when they lose one person, that person leaves and takes a whole bunch of people with them. So we just don't do that. So anyway, you got a small market, a lot of competition. Here comes the biggest problem. 95% of the people want nothing to do with selling. In America, a few months ago, it was on our news, and they were talking about it. They said only 4.7% of the people in America want anything to do with selling. So anyway, something kind of interesting to think about. You got 90% of the people in our industry actually out looking for the 4% of the people that can't make it. Now, when I say a salesperson can't make it, that is very, very true. However, they can make it huge under two conditions. They've got to give up sales, period, and they have to learn network marketing. Yeah, because see, they're different. And they don't know that. And if they would take the time to quit talking and listen, so you could explain something to them, so they could understand it. In fact, have them come to a Zoom training so they can listen to something for 30 minutes without interruptions. And they can learn that we have nothing to do with sales. Now, let's take a look at your activity. How many people do you have in your organization? Okay, now, out of all those people you have in your organization, how many of those people are actively building a business? Okay. We did a Zoom call some time ago that afterwards asked this woman how many people she had. She said 500. And I said, well, that's good. Well, how many of those are actively building a business? Got real quiet for about 10, 15 seconds. And she said 10. Folks, that is typical for the industry. The industry runs about 5% activity. And again, that's why these companies are going down. They need to get their activity up. And the only way they're going to do that if they start teaching their people to duplicate. See, once you understand network marketing, then like I said before, you know how to drive. It's a real simple business. Because see, there's only two elements. Okay. You've got your vehicle is one, which is your company, your product, and your marketing plan. See, you can have the best vehicle in the world, but if you don't know how to drive it, you're not going to go anywhere. So the second element is understanding network marketing, knowing how to drive the vehicle. We have a simple analogy that's easy to learn and easy to remember. If you owned a brand new Lamborghini or Ferrari, would you let your best friend go for a drive around the block in it if they did not know how to drive? Nancy and I, we did training seminars in over 35 countries. I asked over 100,000 people that question. And let me tell you, 100% of the people say, no way would I let anybody drive my brand new Lamborghini or Ferrari if they didn't know how to drive it. Now listen to what people are doing in our industry. Note the word recruit. They'll recruit people to sell. And of course, this person wants nothing to do with selling. And they'll spend days, weeks, and months trying to teach them how to sell their products and so forth. They don't spend 1 minute teaching them how to drive the vehicle. Well, that's what we do. We teach people how to drive the vehicle. Now, during those 35 countries we did seminars, and I always started by asking the people, when you sponsor someone in your business, how much teaching and training time does it take you before your person can sponsor someone? Can you teach them enough in an hour or two? No. How about 2 or 3 hours? No. Or 2 or 3 days. Then I said, well, how many of you have people been with you 2, 3, 4 more months and they still haven't sponsored anybody? Over half the people in the room would raise their hand. And I simply say, do you want to know why they haven't sponsored anybody? It's real simple, because nobody taught them something that they can do. See, it's one thing if you can do something, but if you don't have something so simple that anybody can do it, nothing's going to happen. Of course, that's what I'm going to do shortly here, is teach you something that anybody can do. Now, we do have a secret to the system, okay? And that is we teach our people not to talk. Because see, the more you talk, the more people think they can't do what you're doing. And the more you talk, the more they think they don't have time to do it. So we teach them not to talk. And anyway, before we, in fact, once you understand the system and the app and technology, which I'm going to go over with you, you're going to be able to do in 3 to 5 years what took me 25 years to do. See, before we had these tools now, people would buy my book. In fact, they'd buy 5 books at a time, 25 at a time, whatever. But what I want you to do is focus on how much it would cost today to buy one of my books and get it out to your people, okay? First of all, you pay for the book, but then you have to add to the cost unless you live next door to the post office. How much did it cost you to go to the post office? Now, where I live in California, gas is $7 a gallon. Some places it's $10 a gallon. I don't know what it is where you live, but whatever it is, you have to add that to the cost of getting the book out there. Now, figure this one. How much time did it take you to go to the post office and back? Well, that time has value, okay? You get to the post office, you stand in line, and you finally, buy the postage. You have to add that to the cost. And then you wait 5 days for the people to receive the book. So wait 5 days, you give them a call and you say, have you received the book? They say they did. And then you ask them, well, have you read the book yet? They say they did. You'd be amazed how many people lie to you. They didn't read the book. That's what's called cooling off. Because see, from the time you talk to them till the time they received it, that 5 days, they've already lost interest. See, that can't happen anymore because with our app and system and technology, with the palm of your hand, with your phone, while you're talking to them, you can actually send them the first 5 chapters of the book, print or audio. Okay. So in other words, when you hang up the phone, they already have it, no cooling off. Now, if you like that idea, you're going to love this, that when that person starts to read the 5 chapters, you will get a ping on your mobile device letting you know they started to read them. And when they hang up, they hang up before they finish the 5 chapters, you get another ping saying they partially read them. And when they finish reading, you get another ping saying they finished reading it. So how cool is that to call a person maybe 10, 20 minutes after they've read the book? You don't have to ask them if they read it. You already know they did. And you already know they're interested or they wouldn't have finished it. So that is extremely exciting. Probably the best part of this whole thing is the cost. You already kind of got a rough idea of what it costs to send out one book. Well, for $20 a month, you can send out unlimited first 5 chapters of the book by print or audio to anywhere in the world. There's about 7 different ways to do it. I'll tell you about that here in a few minutes. So anyway, now we have a simple system, and once you understand what I'm going to teach you, it's like I'm handing you the keys to the vehicle. You'll be able to get in the vehicle today, start sponsoring and building your business today. Going down the freeway, sponsoring and teaching, and note that while you're building your business, you can learn all about the company, product, and marketing plan. People who are recruiting people to sell, it's like they have to lift the hood or bonnet up on the vehicle, take the whole engine apart, put it back together again before they can even talk to someone. And that's why it takes them literally days, weeks, and months before they can actually get, somebody that's going to do anything. So anyway, here I'm going to show you how simple this is. We wear a hat. It says "Own Your Life," okay, and a pin that says "Own Your Life." Now, if you don't have that or you don't have the pin, I'm going to tell you exactly what you would say. Okay. Now, let's say you're talking to a friend or someone you meet. Well, for the person you meet, don't do what I'm going to teach you here unless you've made a connection with them first. Ask them some questions, get to know them, let them get to know you. Because if you don't make a connection with them, you're wasting your time. So that's all I'm going to be telling you about talking to a stranger. Because once you see how simple the system is, and you understand that it has nothing to do with selling and anybody can do it, you have more people to talk to than you ever be able to get around to. So let's say that you're talking to a friend, and during the course of the conversation, you simply ask them a question. Have you ever thought about what it would be like if you could own your life? And that means having time, money, and health. Okay, and man, most people don't even know one person that has all three. Young people, millennials, if they're making 60 to 100,000 a year, they have a little bit of money, but they don't have any time because their job, their commute, things they have to do, and their health's okay. Older people, they have a lot of time, but they're running out of money and their health's going bad. So it's a simple question. How would you like to be able to own your life at a time in your life when you could enjoy it with your friends and your family? See, what can they possibly say? Two possibilities, basically. They say, Don, gee, I just want to keep my stupid, dead end, boring job, work the rest of my life and end up broke, okay? Or most people are going to say something like, well, that sounds interesting. Tell me more. So anyway, I just finished the first step of a 3-step system. And if you want to time it sometime, the talking time on that first step is less than 1 minute. And folks, understand that if a person can learn a 1-minute presentation, they can build a business. Anybody can learn a 1-minute presentation. Like Adriana said, it's being recorded. Okay, get the recording. Just listen to this thing 3 times, back and forth, this part of it, and you got it. Okay, because then you can build an organization, because the tools now are going to take over and do all the talking for you. Okay, now they're going to say something like, hey, that sounds interesting. Can you tell me more? So you're now ready for step 2. Only a few sentences in step 2 that you have to say, because all you have to do is tell them that, look, if you would like to really own your life, have time, money, and health, you need to understand network marketing. Because see, 100% of the people in the world that are not in it don't understand it. 80 to 90% of the people who are in it don't understand it. And you'd be amazed, how many owners of companies don't understand it. So that is the first step. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send to you the first 5 chapters of the best-selling book in the world so you can understand it. When you understand it, you'll know how to drive, which you'll understand a little more about that in a minute. And how do you want me to send it to you? Do you want me to send it to you by print or audio or both? Okay. Now, why is audio so important? Well, people are getting to the point where they're saying they don't have time to read. Well, that excuse is gone. You can go to any town in the world during commuter traffic and look at the vehicles, and 90% of the vehicles only have one person in them, and that person probably hates their commute, probably hates their job, going to be stuck there working for the rest of their life. They can change their whole life while they're taking their mobile device with them on their commute and listening to that book, the 5 chapters, while they're commuting. You can listen to it while you're fixing dinner, while you're jogging, while you're walking the dog, while you're exercising. All kinds of ways you can change your life by listening to that while you're doing something else. Now, I've been in the industry for over 50 years, and I don't know if you know this or not, but the biggest excuse in the history of our industry is for people to get you literally off their back, is they say they don't have time. Anybody ever hear that? Does not work anymore, folks, because it doesn't take any time. We don't need their time because they can take their mobile device with them on their commute. So I want you to know that it's their time to read or listen to the book, okay? Not your time. So now between step 1 and step 2, you've got 3-4 minutes of talking time. That's it. So once they finish reading the book, now they know how to drive. And actually, we recommend they read it more than once, because as you do that, you're going to learn more each time. Okay, so now they're ready for step 3. Step 3, my partner, Jeff Romaldi, will link his phone to the computer and share the screen and demonstrate how you send out the 5 chapters. And it's kind of like a learning curve. Once you have done it yourself, say 2-3 times, it will take you about 20 seconds to be able to send out the first 5 chapters to anywhere in the world, about 6 or 7 different ways with technology. And note that the cost of sending it to them is all included in that $20 a month. And like again, you're going to be able to send out unlimited first 5 chapters for doing that. Now, when they have got through everything that's on the app, and I'm going to explain that to you in a few minutes, then they are ready to go to look at your vehicle, your company, product, and marketing plan. Never, ever talk about your vehicle before you've gone through this and they understand how to drive. It doesn't make any sense to show somebody a hot vehicle if they don't know how to drive it. Teach them how to drive it first. So if they ask you during your talk with them, what are you selling or what's your company? If you tell them, you lose. Because as soon as you hang up, they're going to go on Google and look up your company and see all your products and stuff. And they'll think, wow, they're trying to sell me these things or get me to sell them. They're gone. So if someone were to ask me that question, I simply say to them that if I were selling anything, it would be an opportunity for you to own your life. Okay, now, just for the fun of it, I told you basically everything you need to know to start building a business here. It took me 20 minutes. The system with the app and so forth takes about 4 or 5 minutes of your talking time, folks. Anybody can do this. See, and once they understand that they're not looking for people to sell, they can get going with it. So anyway, what I'm going to do now is it's kind of interesting because we do this on Wednesday with Adriana translating into Polish. So the time, takes about 45 minutes, and we always have to stop at that time because if we go beyond that, it gets too long. And when you send it to people, they can't, a lot of people can't open it. So now, because we got more time, I'm just going to go ahead and go through some of the things that we normally do right after we stop and restart the thing. First of all, we take a photo of the people. We'll do that in a few minutes. And the reason we do take the photo, in fact, when I started doing these trainings a long time ago, someone said, can we take your photo? I said, not a problem. And then they said, can we post it on Facebook? And I said, well, that's fine as long as you don't mention your company or product. Well, so what happened here is, some of these people have 1,000 to 4,000 people on their Facebook, and they started posting, about having been to a Zoom training and so forth. Now, most of these people, if they've been in the business 10, 15, 20, whatever, they have a lot of people that were with them a long time ago that are long gone. So why are those people gone? Because they didn't like to sell. So eventually they're gone. So now you got a way to get those people back. And it's called the apologetic approach. What you do is you call this person, you might not have talked to them for 10 years. Doesn't matter how long. You call up and say, hi, John, I'm just giving you a call because I haven't talked to you for a long time, but I'm calling it up to be able to apologize to you. Anybody knows how powerful silence is? Okay. So anyway, they don't understand why you're apologizing, right? So you say, remember I got you in that network marketing program many years ago? Well, I'm calling up to apologize because, see, when I got you in it, I didn't know what I was doing, okay? You got to be honest with them. You didn't know what you were doing. And I've been to a training now where I learned that we don't recruit people to sell. We sponsor and teach, and anybody can do the business because it has nothing to do with selling. And I went to this Zoom training, and if you listen to this, you understand how easy this. you could retire in 3 to 5 years. So I'm just calling up to apologize for ruining your life. Because if I'd have known then what I know now, you'd already be retired. So would you like me to send you this Zoom training so you can check it out? Folks, it's either yes or no. It's no big deal. You probably have a lot of people that you can ask that question to. So you're going to get a percentage of those people. They're going to want to come back. So that's why we do the picture and so forth, to be able to do that. Okay, now, next thing I want to go over what you get when you get the app, okay? And besides being able to send out the first 5 chapters of the book, you're going to get the entire new updated book in print and audio, okay? And something I just found out yesterday, Adriana, you're going to love this. Talked to Jeff last night, and this little 30-minute Zoom training, we're going to have the Zoom training on the app. So you can send it out where they can listen to the Zoom training, okay? However, it's going to be in the book. It'll be about 10 pages in the book. So when people get the book, they're going to have it. And what I'm kind of excited about, if you look in the questions and answer section, there's a question in there where I talk about the 2 choices you have in life. And Jeff said, well, he asked the question. And someone said, Don, someone said, they heard you talk about the 2 choices in life. What are they? Well, the first one is to get a job, and the other one is to get an opportunity. Okay. Well, to get a job, in fact, there isn't a college in the world I know of that teaches opportunities. Okay. It's all about going to college to get a better job. Think about how much money did it cost you to buy the books, to read all, and the time to read all the books, and your student loan and so forth. Okay, so you got 4 years of your life right there. And by the time you're through with the 4 years, they got your mind program. If you get an MBA or master, you get a better job. So you got more books, more time, more student loan. And some people even go on to get a PhD, more time, more books, and so forth. You get the better job in 10, 20 years. Most people don't like what they're doing anyway, and half the people are going to end up broke. Okay, so that's one possibility, the job. Now, the opportunity, you read one book, okay? You read this book, not just once, 2 or 3 times. And with the new upgraded book, folks, it's going to blow you away, okay? You read the book a few times, you've got your degree in network marketing. You get the app, you learn everything on the app. I'm going to go over that with you and so forth. Now you have your master's degree in network marketing. You put into practice what you've learned, and in 3 to 5 years, you will own your life, have time, money, and health, okay, with a PhD in network marketing. So basically, with the new upgraded book, if people read that 3 times, they've got their PhD in network marketing, and they're going to know what to do. So we're real excited to be getting that in. Right now, we're looking at approximately maybe 3 to 4 weeks, and we'll have the app in English. And once we have it in English, that becomes the base. And the company said that they'll be able to add a new language every 3 weeks to the app. So we'll be adding, German, Polish, Italian, Romanian, French to the app. And the plan is to have the app in all the major languages. Another section in the app is called questions and answers. And that little presentation I just did on the choice there, that's one of the Q&As. And you can actually, just like you can send out the 5 chapters, you're going to be able to send out that question and answer to someone. If you think that, gee, that's kind of interesting, people would like to hear that. You don't have to try to explain it. Let the tools, do the talking for you. So let's say that you sponsor someone, and they sponsor someone who asks your person a question. Well, you're brand new, you don't know what the answer is, and you might be out of town. Say, how long does it take them to find you to get the answer to the question? Okay, now all they have to do is pick up their mobile device and find the question. Now, there's 25 questions there right now. And if you have a question that is not on the app, submit it to us, because periodically Jeff and I will get together and add new questions. So eventually, anything you could ever possibly think of is going to be on the app. Now, over the last year, with the original company, which we changed, see, the original company only had 6 employees, so they couldn't keep up with what we were doing. The new company doing the app now has 370 employees. They're in 20 different countries. They have a whole team of people working on the app. So, that's why, we can get all this stuff, done a lot quicker. But anyway, we had a guest trainer that came on, Dr. Steve Hines, and he's going to now become a permanent part of the app. Now, he's a retired eye surgeon who's a multimillionaire, sold his practice, been in network marketing for over 30 years, and he has an organization of over 350,000 people on autoship. He has the fastest growing organization with his company using our system tools and technology. Now, if you have a doctor, dentist, lawyer, professional person who listen to this guy for 3 to 4 minutes, they're going to want to join your business. So we're going to be really excited to have him part of the app. We have a section called Nancy's Wisdom. 6 months before my wife passed away, she did a training on Zoom that women absolutely love. Okay. Guys like it too. So that's going to be on the app, along with a couple interviews she did. And we've got some more material that's going to be going under that section. And if you haven't heard this before, 70% of the people in the world in network marketing are women. Okay. We have another section called interviews, podcasts. We have right now 3 of the top podcasters in the country on network marketing, Simon Chen, Tom Chenault, and Peter Mengels, that have interviewed us. And Tom Chenault, when he did his interview, it went out onto about 500 radio stations. And so anyway, we get a lot of exposure and so forth. And we've got a lot of podcasters now want more interviews, but we're not going to do any more interviews with anyone until we have the app finished and up and running to get that going. We don't have testimonies on the original app. We're going to have a section of testimonies, and these will run like about, 1 to a couple minutes, maybe on Zoom. And a person can't mention the name of the company or product. It's kind of like people talking about how they have been in the business for a while and not going anywhere, trying to recruit people to sell. And now that they learn the system, what it's done for them. We had a woman here a few weeks ago. She, we're going to go into questions and answers shortly and testimonies. And she gave a testimony that after 1 week of hearing this training, she ended up sponsoring 2 people, and each one of them sponsored 1. So that's the kind of things we're going to have on there. So we're excited to get that handled. And again, like I said, hopefully within the next 3 to 4 weeks, we'll have it done in English. And if you want to use the app that we already have, I kind of recommend just wait for the new one. Okay, I mean, you can get it for like $15 a month. And some people make a mistake, because if you pay annually for that, you get 2 free months. Well, that would be a huge mistake, because as soon as the new app comes out, the new edition of the book and so forth, you're going to want the new one. Well, these are 2 separate companies. So if you're monthly, you can just cancel that and get the new one. But if you inadvertently get the thing on the annual, you can't cancel the annual. So you'll be stuck with that. Adrian will post a link for you if you want to take a look at it. But we're so close to having the new book now, you might not even want to deal with it. So anyway, Adriana, did I forget anything on the what we're getting on the app?
No.
Yeah, I think, I know, I did forget one thing. We are going to have a store on the app. And the store, you're going to be able to get the hats, pins, hard copies of the new edition of the book, and there'll be quantity discounts and so forth. And this is Adriana's idea. because I'm known all over the world for wearing a Hawaiian shirt. We're going to get a cool design of a Hawaiian shirt with Own Your Life on it and so forth, and that'll be available too. So we're having a lot of fun. Okay. So now what I want to do now is tell you how you can do in 3 to 5 years what took me 25. Okay, it has to do with one word, and the word is time. Okay, I'll give you an example. Before we had the system app and technology, people would have a sizzle session in a restaurant. Okay, you would have people, say 3 to 15 people show up coming from 3 to 15 different directions, driving 15 minutes to an hour to get there, spend an hour and a half to 2 hours in the sizzle session. And, you know, some people didn't get home till 10, 11 o'clock at night. Well, back in those days, of course, the women were home taking care of the children. And I'll guarantee you, if you were to do that more than once a week, you were in trouble with your spouse. Okay. Well, look at what the way things are now. See, the industry's evolved, you know, to the point now where, of course, we went a whole year without any restaurants being open in California. But we don't do them in sizzle sessions in the restaurants. We do them on Zoom. Okay. Can you imagine? Like this is a Zoom, this is like a Zoom training. Okay. I do anywhere from 1 to 5 of these a day, anywhere from 1 person to 50 to 100. Probably the biggest one I've done was last year. I had 2 of Tony Robbins' translators in Moscow. We had over 2,000 Russians on a Zoom training. So there's no limit how big this is going to get once the app goes, you know, public. These trainings are going to be huge. So anyway, because you get more time now, you don't have to drive anywhere and so forth. Can you imagine if all the active people in your downline only did 1 Zoom training a day compared to 1 a week, how much faster your group would grow? Okay, now the book was written over 36 years ago and stopped at 5. Because see, once you had 5 people, if you're duplicating, you didn't have time to work with more than 5 legs, because you'd help those 5 get their 25, get their 125, get their 625, 3,125. You didn't have time. But see, now you do. So once you have 5, you add another leg. And now you've got, help that person get duplicating. And you add another one, you get it out to 10. Get 10 people wide. Understand, folks, once you have 10 active people with what I'm teaching you here, you can go the rest of your life and never have to sponsor another person, because you're going to help those 10 get their 10s, 100, then it goes to 1,000, gets 10,000. You're done. You never have to do that. The people who are recruiting people to sell, they're never done. They have to spend the rest of their life always looking for the next person to recruit. And a quick difference between sales and network marketing: when you're recruiting people to sell, it's like you are a sales manager and they are working for you. When you're recruiting people, or you're sponsoring people to duplicate, you are working for them. Huge, huge difference. And the deeper it goes, the stronger it gets, because the person progressively gets one more person working for them. So if you put the 10 next to 5, note the difference is 5. Draw this out on a piece of paper when we're done. You'll really blow you away. 10 gets 10, it's 100 next to 25. Notice the difference is 75. Then 100 times 10 is 1,000 next to 125. Now the difference is 875. Take that out 6 levels deep. I want you to do this on your own, because you do that on your own, it's going to really sink in. You take this out 6 levels deep, you will do in 3 to 5 years what took me 25 years to do. Okay, so looking at the time, I got one more thing I can tell you here before we take the picture. And that is, how do you motivate your people? See, I live in San Diego, and over 95% of my total organization is in Europe. Okay, it's around the world. Okay, so people say, well, how do you motivate these people? I say, I don't. I teach them how to motivate themselves. Now, there's 2 ways that they do that. I had a publisher one time in Australia told me that he read my book 10 times. And every time he read it, he learned something new. And that's because you're listening at a different level. That's why it's important to come back to these Zoom trainings. Now, even though my presentation won't vary a half of 1%, the first part, when we get into the questions and answers and testimonies, always something new to learn there. So it's a repetition thing, but there's things in there when you read the book that will motivate you. Now, biggest one is when you duplicate. See, you're sponsoring someone, you're helping them go 3, 4, 5 levels deep. Let's say that you are sound asleep, and while you're sleeping, somebody in your downline signs someone up. You have a new distributor. So you wake up in the morning, you look at your computer and the net, internet, and you see that you had a new person sign up while you were sleeping. Folks, you're excited, you're motivated, and that'll keep growing. Like when I wake up in the morning, not counting weekends, I'm averaging right around 600 new people a day coming into my business. I'm excited, I'm motivated. But see, it didn't start with 600, it started with 1. All of a sudden you're getting 1 a week, and then all of a sudden you're getting 2 a week, then 3 a week. I mean, it just keeps getting better. Now, this is going to really save you a lot of money, because people are spending a lot of money going to listen to these motivational people. Now, none of them are building a business that I know of. Okay. I mean, if they really believed and understood network marketing, why aren't they doing it? But they're great motivators. They can motivate you. Guess what, folks? It'll last about a week. We call that hot bath. And they got your program to come back and spend more money to get advanced motivation. Save your money, use it for products for your company. Because if you're duplicating, you won't need that kind of motivation, because you will be excited all the time. So anyway, why don't we take the picture, Adriana? And